Hello and welcome. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sarah Muhammad. Today I wanted to explain the poem. It's called The Altar. So first of all, before we going to the poem itself, we're going to the poet, the writer. So the writer here, his name is George Herbert. As I know, George Herbert, he is an English poet and religious poet. He born in 3 April in 1593 and died in 1633. He was ranked with John Donne as one of the great metaphysical poets, and his poet is associated with the writing of the metaphysical poets. He is recognized as one of the foremost British devotional resistors. Today we're going to explain this, like the structure and rhyme scheme, the concrete shape, and some literary devices. This is our poem. It's called The Altar. The name itself, do you know what's the altar? The altar is the table or the platform for the presentation of the religious offerings for sacrifice or for other ritualist purposes. This is the altar, this is the table that when you go to the church, when you walk in the way, you see this table. So it's called the altar. Yes. Let's go back to our poem. The altar symbolized to the presence of the Christ during the ceremony, during the celebration that happened in the church. So let's go to our poem. Do you notice something nervous about or something strange in our poem? The shape itself. So the shape itself, if you notice, it's like the altar, the table that I show you this. So the shape itself, the altar that's building to show the relationship between the God and the humankind and the people. But here our poem or our writer, he went to build another altar by his heart and his tears, and that we see it in line 2. I'm sorry, I didn't read the poem, so let's read it, then I go to explain it. The altar, a broken altar, Lord, the servant rears, made of a heart and cemented with tears, whose parts are as the handed frame. No workman's tool hath touched the same. A heart alone is such a stone as nothing but the power doth cut. Wherefore each part of my heart hath meet in this frame to praise thy name, that if I chance to hold my peace, these stones to breathe they may not cease. Oh, let they please sacrifice by me and snaffened this altar to be then. So the first line, broken altar. I think he wrote this a broken altar. We didn't see before that a broken altar. How the altar is broken? That's as the Catholic Church or the Catholic people request. He think the altar is made by God. So how it's gonna be broken? So I found there is a connection between the broken altar and the short sentence in the middle of the poem. Like a heart alone is such a stone as nothing, but the power that cut. So I think the writer here is broken, and he wanted to get and to give the God sacrifice to build an altar from his heart and tears. So he make a connection between a broken altar and this a short sentence. And I know something that make me confusion. Like this short sentence, a heart alone is such a stone as nothing, but the power that cut. Wherefore each part of my head hurt meets in his farm to praise the name. There is the sentence is cutting. So I noticed that he wanna like a heart alone is such a stone. There is no punctuation after alone, but there is a full stop after cut and stone and frame. So I think he make a connection when he cut this sentence to build the shape of the an altar. Let's say something also. No workman's tool has touched the same. He says that no man can touch this altar that he wanted to make by his heart and by his tears, because he wanted to be accepted by the God, to be clean and not dirtied by anyone in this world. So he want to give himself, to sacrifice himself, his heart, to build an altar like what the Christ do. As the Catholic Church believe, the Christ he sacrificed himself to make an altar. So the God is accepted that, and he wanted to be like the Christ. Like when he say, "All the day, please sacrifice by me and sanctify this altar to be them." That means, please God, accept his sacrifice that I give it to you and make me like the Christ. And I wanted to talk about rhyme scheme. I didn't talk about it. Like the line 1 and line 2 AA, frame, same, PP, alone, stone, DD, CC, and podcast, DD, heart frame, EE, like that. It's a regular rhyme scheme. And that's it. Thank you for listening me and listening my conversation or my presentation.